Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. Today it's a 1 vs 1 on Kholodny Ferma Winter between our red Vermont player, who just happens to be a relic developer, SpaceBus, and on the far left side of the map we have our blue UKF player, BrizzlyBear. And so I thought this would be a fun game to cast. It is a rather fairly short game. And a relic developer had happened to post a replay on the CoH2.org website, and if you haven't gone there, go there. So I figured I would just post this and see what's going on. He posted 3 replays, so you guys can find the other 2 on that website. And the other 2 were very, very short replays, and this was the longest of the 3. But we have Pioneers moving out to the very first territory point, and infantry grabbing that first victory point, moved right to that first territory point, and then past that first house. And then perhaps going to get inside the church here, or just stand around, one of the 2. And now Pioneers moving to the munitions point here, and we have a Grenadier squad, an MG42 on the way for the Wehrmacht here, 2 infantry squads for the British forces, and 1 Vickers on the way, also putting some troops in that house there to stall the Wehrmacht. And this is a very good strategy to do on this map. If you're on the left side of the map, you want to try and get some forces here first, whether it be your rear echelon troops or your infantry section or what have you. Or if you're on the right side of the map, you want to try and get into this house first. Sometimes that always can't be done, but that's generally what you want to try to do right off the bat. MG42 set up inside the house at the munitions point. And now the Grenadiers going at it with the infantry, and unfortunately, you really don't want to do this. You just want to avoid this. Eventually, of course, you do want to get them out of there, but you can't really go toe-to-toe with troops inside the building there. Pioneers now going at it with infantry section, the British forces, and losing, as Pioneers typically do, to the infantry of the British forces. Now going to be running away, going on home, and the Grenadiers not having a very good time, just need to go south and get on out of there. Take some other territory. And now the infantry section moving up to the top territory point there. And the Vickers now moving towards the Wehrmacht base. Going to get this Vickers inside of this house, more than likely. And infantry was trying to make some sandbags there for some cover, for some additional cover with this MG. But was unable to complete that with 2 Grenadier squads moving on the way. And now the Grenadiers moving right at the MG42. And unfortunately getting suppressed here. Gonna have to run on home and get out of there. And should just be running down towards the bottom side of the map. Just sort of totally avoiding this. And grabbing a mortar and just sort of setting it up over here at base. And just sort of bombing out any troops that happen to be in there. Now the infantry are going to be completing those sandbags up top here. Infantry section going at the MG42. And before they even get suppressed, he just gets them out of there, as he knows he was definitely losing that one. Infantry section down here, grabbing some of the bottom territory, starting to work on that now. And Pioneers now moving up towards the top side of the map there, just avoiding that MG. And we do have a mortar now out in the field, so very wise choice, grabbing that mortar and now trying to bombard these infantry on out of here. And that MG backs out just a bit, sets up behind the frozen hay pile. And the Pioneers now moving up towards the victory point there, and Grenadiers moving towards the top side of the map, somewhere, wherever they may. And infantry now with that medical upgrade.
Threatening a capture point.
And Grenadiers now moving up towards the house here, but that MG, that Vickers there, still set up and suppressing these troops here, and they're going to have to bail out of there very soon. And that mortar, direct hit, very nice mortar hit there. A full health Vickers squad takes a direct hit from that Grenat for 34. And takes out 3 men right on the spot. Very lucky mortar barrage, and now the infantry section taking some of the German territory here, taking that fuel point. However, at the same time, Grenadiers and Pioneers all the way up at the top of the map, taking the equivalent, sort of just switching each other's territories out momentarily. And the mortar now moving up towards the top side of the map. And we have Royal Engineers on the map here. 2 infantry with the medical supply upgrade, one of them without Vickers heavy machine gun, 2 grenadiers for the Wehrmacht, that Pioneer MG42, grenade, mortar there, and a sniper as well on the way. And now infantry versus the grenadiers here, side by side, in front of each other, rather. And one of them superior cover, the other one not so much. And the grenadiers are forced to run away. Pioneers here out in the open. Just need to get those out of there. And Pioneers about to suffer some losses here, but the infantry back out as that MG42 is inside that house there. Would have caused some problems. So the infantry going to go up to take the territory point there, and the Royal Engineers going to take the fuel point. Wehrmacht sniper out on the map here, and just needs to move up just a scotch more and could start sniping away at the infantry section down here. Now there's a second infantry section moving on down as well. Pioneers now moving up towards the infantry section here. They do have a flamethrower, but still may not win out on it. It's going to be a close call, but we do have Royal Engineers now moving up on them as well. Did not capture that fuel point, but they decided that they needed to just get off there now to help out the infantry buddies. And now the Royal Engineers will chase these Pioneers out of here, maybe even finish them off. Very, very low health, and needs to get them out of there, and loses his Pioneers to those Engineers there. And the sniper now taking away one at a time the infantry section here. And he may be out of sight range now. I do believe they are slightly hidden just a little bit too far. Now the sniper going to be moving up. And going to fire away. Takes out another infantry. However, there are 4 more here moving up on that sniper. Sniper now moving away. 2 kills so far on that sniper. Royal Engineers are taking the top victory point here. And soon will be 3 victory points for the British forces. British forces so far have lost no points. And sniper forced to run away. The infantry got a little bit too close there. And now the grenadiers battling out with the infantry. Infantry once again take the house. And the Wehrmacht really needs to be up more towards here to be able to take that house before the British forces do. That's causing a lot of grief for the Wehrmacht right now. And MG42 switching the windows over and over there as those troops move around.
Access to superior arms and soldiers.
And now the Grenadier is going to be rushing up towards the sandbags to use those against the British forces. He should be using those against the British forces as they are excellent cover. And just as a reminder, these are just sort of practice games that were posted on the CoH2.org. And that really meant to be professional replays of any kind. But I figured I would cast them. Figured it was kind of a treat. And the fuel point now being taken by Grenadiers, and the cutoff point there being taken by Grenadiers as well. Now the sniper moving on forward. And we do have a mortar emplacement for the British forces. And it looks like a universal carrier is on the way as well. And I believe this is post-patch, so that does mean that the armored car has been buffed quite a bit. And so we'll see if that comes into play this game or not. The Grenadiers down to 1 man here, very, very low. Needs to retreat out of there, giving sight for that sniper, though. And sniper going to fire again here shortly, and chipping away at that Vickers crew there. And I don't know where the MG42 that was in this house went. It is all the way up here now, and certainly would be better here now, as all these troops are over here. And Vickers now getting out of the church there, and successfully runs on home with his life. And a mortar comes straight down on the infantry section there. And 1 tiny sliver of health left on that British infantry. Narrowly escapes with his life as well.
The enemy is gaining a foothold. We are down to 300 points.
Now the universal carrier is out on the map here. It is a command vehicle.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
As the air support around it calls in a recon that flies around it, giving sight all around that universal carrier there. And now 2 Royal Engineers moving up, but they're going to be moving right into the face of that MG42, so suppression is coming their way shortly here. And they're right on top of each other, so both squads going to get suppressed right off the bat. However, the mortar emplacement from the British forces is slamming down on that MG42 right now. And narrowly missing the rest of that crew there, down to 2 men with a small sliver of health left. The mortar gonna pack up and should be retreating away. I don't really see anything that could actually help them out other than the pioneers. Now 1 victory point for the British forces, and soon to be 2 victory points for the Wehrmacht, so we'll soon actually start to chip away at that British forces score. 500 to 285 right now. And the income 37 and 16 fuel to 47 and 29 respectively, so a little bit more for the Wehrmacht at the moment, capturing a little bit more territory. And now the munitions point is up for grabs. These grenadiers could grab that and have an even bigger advantage. However, there is a Bofors there, but I believe it is more than out of range of that Bofors.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Vickers now moving across the way here, going to try and set up inside the church by the looks of it. And that sniper is pretty well jacked up, very, very low on health. No medical bunker for the Wehrmacht, strangely enough. Should always have a medical bunker there whenever you get the chance, which should be much earlier in the game. Now the Vickers get subject to the sniper here. Now the mortar launching away, hitting the Bofors.
Upgraded. Medium armor and rocket artillery is now available.
And we now have engineers inside of that Bofors, and now going to start doing some barraging with that Bofors, hitting the house with that MG inside of it, and collapses the house with the MG inside of it, so no more MG as the roof has collapsed on their heads. So now the British forces recontrols the map once again. 2 victory points for the British forces, 1 for the Wehrmacht. Now modified M6 mines going down on the ground for these engineers here, putting them right in the middle of the road. Grenadiers with that LMG-42 forces these British forces units away. We still have some infantry here taking the munitions point. Grenadiers going to stay and take that territory point there. And that top victory point is pretty undefended there, and could be taken very easily by those Grenadiers shortly after they capture that territory point. Now the engineers taking the bottom victory point. So the British forces will own all 3 victory points for a short time. And the mortar squad all the way up top here. And Grenadiers now moving down, and incoming British infantry seeking cover, somewhat cover behind that tractor there, kind of standing at a very awkward angle to these Grenadiers. And here comes a rifle grenade, going to land directly on these British forces and takes them down, nearly wipes the whole squad with 1 grenade. And now the squad is done. One of them burns to death there from that Pioneer. The kill attributed to those Pioneers there. Now another rifle grenade hits the British forces there, but as they move, just as it hits, and doesn't do too much damage. Looks like it only took down 1 man. Now the fuel point taken by the British forces here.
Is attempting to steal our sector.
And munitions point also being taken, but raining mortars. And that recon plane flying around that universal carrier there, showing everything that's going on.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Mortar team actually taking it into their own hands to capture what they will. Only 2 Grenadiers and a Pioneer. And a mortar team for the Wehrmacht, floating nearly 1,500 resources.
A mechanized assault group awaits your order to deploy, Commander.
And infantry now moving up, and really need to use some of those resources there. Could buy just queue up 3 grenadiers or whatever. Start teching as well. Could actually get to battle phase 3 there and get tech to tier 3 and grab some Panthers with that amount. But it doesn't really have the fuel to do so, so really just blasting out a bunch of grenadiers or a 222 would certainly be helpful. Engineers now retaking the munitions points, 2 victory points and 1 for the Wehrmacht. 2 for the British forces, 1 for the Wehrmacht, 491 for the British forces, 208 for the Wehrmacht. And the Bofors in a really good spot here, and still really hasn't been barraged too many times by the Wehrmacht mortar. And now we have a Stug E out on the field. And ready to go. Grenadiers now engaging with the infantry. Grenadiers are in negative cover though, so they're going to be taking lots of damage. Going to launch a rifle grenade there. Moves out of the way, doesn't suffer too much damage. But being in that negative cover there did do quite a bit of damage to that squad.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
BrizzlyBear is saying recon playing so good.
Light artillery awaits your orders.
Saying it gets unlimited recon for only 75 munitions, as you can use it on a cooldown over and over. And Pioneer and Grenadiers now moving forward at the infantry, and with the help of that Stug E chipping away at the infantry squad. The Stug E usually takes out 1 troop per attack. Generally the way it is. 50-50s, I suppose. A very good tank at infantry, not so much at penetrating pretty much anything. We have some infantry up here that would love to be the end of this Stug E here. And Stug now moving forward. It looks like it's going after the 3-inch mortar emplacement here. But it is braced now and will suffer very little damage to this Stug. And as you can see, it will take some time at this rate with this Stug E firing away. And the mortar emplacement taking it into his hands once again and taking the victory point. Also taking that territory point as well with some grenadiers. But now we have a Comet out in the field, and now the Stug has no chance against this Comet. And Comet's going to get around the backside there and whale it in the rear armor. And Stug's just going to try and run away here, and not doing a very good job of that. And just going to use him to bash away at this emplacement. And going to do some good damage to it, but I doubt he will destroy this. No, he's going to be repairing it now with these engineers. And now destroyed the Stug E. It was a very glorious Stug, but unable to get the job done. And Grenadiers down here taking the territory point, the cutoff point back for the Wehrmacht there. Now 2 victory points for the British forces. And that universal carrier has moved up just a little bit there to scout. And that air support is nearly ready already. As you can see, it only costs 75 to actually get the recon for your universal carrier like that for your command vehicle. And it cools down relatively quick. Just maybe 15 or 20 seconds after the actual recon plane is done, you can use it again. Comet face hits that Grenadier there, takes out a whole Grenadier in one shot. And now moving forward here, Grenadier running for his life. And there's really nothing to defend this base from this Comet just pushing in. And SpaceBus has to GG out. And a very interesting replay. And so it wasn't a very high-level replay, but it was interesting in the fact that it was a Relic developer who had posted a few replays to the site, learning his way into the wacky, wild world of 1v1s. So you got to give him a chance. You know, everybody's got to start somewhere. But I hope you guys enjoyed the replay. There was a few things that was fairly interesting in the match, and one is that the fact that UKF is actually in the game, as you rarely see a UKF in 1v1 anymore. And also the Universal Carrier was shown to be insanely awesome as a command vehicle with that recon, just pretty much a perpetual recon plane overhead, and the Comet versus the Stug E, of course. But I hope you guys enjoyed this replay, and I'll see you guys next time.